Today's video is an opportunity to kind of walk you through the new check-in system as well as check-in and check-out process that we will be switching to in the near future. Today we're going to have Amy with us, and we'll call this baby Sophia with her, and they're going to kind of be representing the mom and child that will be going through the check-in system and process as well as the check-out process once we get to it. Wanted to give you a couple updates before we get there though. The first thing is that if you're a middle school or if you have a middle school child, the process is going to stay the same for them. It will be the new check-in system, but they're able to check themselves in and out. Middle school is that age where we kind of believe they're old enough to check themselves in and out, so they can go ahead and continue to do that. At this end of the building, we have 4th and 5th. That is not okay at that point. 4th and 5th, the parents need to check them in and they need to check them out, primarily because of the security label, making sure we're protecting our kids, that we just don't deem that as quite old enough yet to check themselves in and out. Most of our parents do a great job of that, but if there is any that they've been letting them, we need to kind of shore that up, make sure our parents are doing that check-in and check-out process. As we go through this, you'll notice that there's lots of changes, even kind of some deconstruction and things like that of the rooms. There's going to be a lot of changes that you see and notice. We hope that this helps make the process a lot smoother. But bear with us as we walk through this, and we'll show you the new system as well as the process, and we just thank you for taking the time to watch this video today. All right, so come on in. Now this is where you would check in your child. We are switching into a new system, and so we wanted to be able to give an opportunity for you all to see the new system, how it looks, how it feels. It is going to feel and operate very similar to what you were used to before. Before we actually get to that point though, I wanted to introduce you to Sherry. You'll meet her several times throughout the video, but Sherry is our volunteer at the kiosk station. So if you have any issues with the kiosk, or you have a question about it, or you're trying to figure out how do I check in a bag or anything like that, our kiosk attendants will be here to be able to help you out and walk you through that process a little bit. So let's go ahead and show you the station. So step on up, Amy. So at this point, what you would do is you would put in your phone number, which will bring up your entire family. So let's go ahead and put in the last 4 of your phone number here. So this is actually my family. That's okay. We'll use that as an example. But to check in your little one here, basically all that you would do is you simply click the box next to it to check them in, and then you check in one person, and they are now printed into the system. It will then print off these stickers, which will have their name on it. It has Whitaker. It'll also give information such as what room they're in nursery, the date and time that you're checking them into, and below it, if there are any medical issues like allergies or anything like that, it would be put right across there. Now this sticker, this is very important that this goes on your little one's back, okay? Now with newborns, of course, we can kind of work around that, but with 2s and 3s, 4s and 5s, all the way up to 4th and 5th graders, very important that this gets put on the back. This is a must. We don't want on their chest where they can pick at it, or on their leg where they can pick at it, because the security label that we have right here is what's key. We want to make sure that we have access to this security label, because that's going to be very, very important going forward during the checkout process. More important than it has been in the past, okay? So this goes on the middle of your child's back, that way they can't pick or pull at it. There's also going to be an additional sticker, especially for nursery, that it goes onto the diaper bags. In fact, we can go ahead and stick one on there here. So that goes onto the diaper bag. That way when you're checking out, we know what bag belongs to what child. And just for example's sake, we'll go ahead and put it on the baby. Again, we can work with the babies in different ways. It doesn't necessarily have to be on their back, especially if they're newborns. But we also have the parent sticker. You'll notice that there's 2 different codes, or 2 codes, but they are the identical codes. That way, you know, if mom and dad, if you have a kid on one side of the building, another kid on the other side, you can tear this in half and you can go opposite directions. Or if it's mom and grandma, whatever it might be, you can tear it in half, go opposite directions to pick up, make the checkout process a little bit easier for you. Or if it's just you by yourself, then you've got it on one sticker, so you don't have to mess with multiple stickers in your pocket. This will be key in order to get in during checkout. Make sure you keep this. This is very, very important. All right. Do you have any questions?
Yep.
All right. Okay, so now that you have your ticket, let's head on back. Okay, so at this point of the video, this is our teacher, Sherry, and she's going to be taking care of your children on a pretty regular basis, and so we want to introduce you to one of them. At this point, the parent would then be passing off the child into the teacher's hands. The stickers, of course, one would be on the back of the baby or on like their car seat if you're bringing in a car seat. The other sticker can also go onto their bag, so that way when we go to do checkout, they know what bag belongs to what baby.
All right. Thank you.
Our beautiful baby has been passed, so that's great news. This is an opportunity where you get to communicate some information. For the babies, it might be like, hey, we've really been tracking wets and dirties and we need to know what happens. Or if it's in 2s and 3s, like, hey, we've been potty training and we're trying out undies today, so let us know if any accidents happen. So it's an opportunity for you to be able to communicate information to the teacher up front. That way they know what to expect, and that way you feel confident that they have the knowledge that they need. Okay, so now we're at the point where we are doing the checkout process. Once it comes to checkout, again, we have our parent Amy, who's going to be walking through the process with us. When you're going through the checkout, again, I mentioned that those tickets are very important, especially the security codes on them. So it'll be at this point when you get to this doorway that we'll have a volunteer right here. Again, it's Sherry stepping into place, so thank you, Sherry. And at this point, Amy would then show her ticket. Once she sees her ticket, she is then allowed to go and pick up her family. However, if for any reason she's misplaced that ticket, the process would be we're going to have a desk right outside in the atrium, which we'll show in just a minute. You would have to go to that desk. They can reprint it, but once you have shown identification. So that's very important. Make sure you keep these tickets so that way you don't have any issues and you can go in. We will allow up to 5 families back at a time, at least initially. This is kind of a trial by error process, and as we see how crowded and busy it is, we might be able to get more families back there, but initially we're going to allow 5 families at a time. So if they step up and if Sherry or whoever's in this place would ask you to kind of hang out for a minute, just kind of hang out until somebody else comes out and then we'll allow you in. But again, very important, make sure that you have this ticket with the security codes available so that way we can allow you back to get your child. Okay, so at this point, this is where we would do our checkout process. You've come back, of course, you still have sticker in hand, it's still very important. You will then show that to the volunteer. The volunteer's job is they're going to check that code that's on there, that security code, and they're going to match it to your child. This is very important. I've even stated that for myself and like JD and people like that who everyone knows, all the volunteers know, they know who our kids are, I still want them checking our code. I want to make sure that's always checked. So that's why, again, having that sticker is very important, as well as keeping it on the back of your child and on their bags, things like that. And then that way they can match up the code and know that we're handing off the correct child to you. It's also at this time that this is a great opportunity where the teacher can communicate any information to you. Again, we talked about wets and diapers during the check-in process. We talked about potty training for the 2s and 3s. Well, we can also talk about things like, what were the lessons today that they learned? What games did they play? Was your kid misbehaving? You would want to know that. We need to be able to relay that information, and this allows you to start developing those relationships with the teacher, so that way we can be open and honest with one another and communicate what we need to help you and your family grow the best that we possibly can. So go ahead.
Was my baby good today?
Yes. You have a good week. We'll see you next week.
Also in the classrooms there will be tablets, if you wouldn't mind grabbing that for me. Every classroom will have a tablet. Parents, you don't necessarily need to worry about this or know about it, but I just wanted you to know the process. This is how we will check the children out. On a Sunday morning, and that'll be full of kids' names that are in this individual classroom. They'll simply press it, check them out of the system, and then you're completely good to go at that point. So this will be a new station that you'll see here in the atrium. This is going to be our guest check-in. So if you bring a friend with you 1 week and you need to check them in as a guest, this is where they would come. And we'll have a couple people sitting here, one to check you in, another one to introduce your guests to the rooms and show them around. But if you ever have a guest, or if you ever want to edit information, so let's say you have a new child, you just had one, and you need to add them to your family, you wouldn't do that at the kiosk, you would do that right here. You come here, they can type in the information for you, and then you're good to go. Again, if you ever have any guests or need to edit information, this is where you do it, right in the atrium outside of the G-Kids area. All right, well, thank you very much, Amy, and thank you, Sherry, and thank you so much for tuning in and watching this, and we will see you all next time.